trial of Jam Master Jay have started. Here is some reporting from Fox 5 News. As you come on to the page, don't forget to hit that thumbs up bell, which is a like bell, and subscribe. If you haven't done so as yet, thank you.
Back in town today, we learned more about what prosecutors say happened in that studio back in 2002. Ronald Washington and Carl Jordan Jr. are both charged with murder. Prosecutors say that they were driven by greed and revenge when they killed the trailblazing DJ over a drug deal.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles with more from Brooklyn.
A premeditated ambush. That's how prosecutors Monday framed the federal murder and narcotics case against Carl Jordan Jr. and Ronald Washington and the shooting death of Jason Mizell, known to the world as rap legend Jam Master Jay of Run DMC.
Good morning.
Jordan's mother, his young daughters, and other relatives arriving early at the federal courthouse in downtown Brooklyn in support of the 39-year-old accused shooter. During opening arguments, prosecutors told jurors that he and Washington were proud they took down Jam Master Jay, despite their close friendships. They said in October 2002, Jordan and Washington, angered they'd been cut out of a $200,000 drug deal, recruited a third person to show up at Mizell's recording studio in Jamaica, Queens. He'd buzzed into the front door, only to go to the back of the studio to open a rear fire escape door and let the two men inside.
The fire escape door was in the back part of where Jay, because Jay always, had his set where he played the video games at. So there was a door right there, right where he had to set up for the studio.
In disturbing detail, prosecutors say Jordan was mere inches away when he shot Mizell, that the bullet burned the hair on his head. Washington is accused of ordering the two other people in the room down to the floor with a gun. His attorney, quick to call out the glaring holes in the 20-year-old cold case, saying investigators have stuck it together with tape and glue. And Jordan's attorney saying in opening arguments, Carl Jordan Jr. did not kill Jason Mizell, and I expect the evidence throughout this trial to prove that.
None of the family members are here. They all passed away. So we got to get the justice right now.
CBS News also did some reporting on this story.
The trial for the murder of hip-hop DJ Jam Master Jay is set to begin today. The Run DMC star was shot in 2002 in his recording studio in Queens. Other people were in the studio when he was killed, but it remained a cold case for many years. Federal prosecutors say the two defendants on trial, Carl Jordan Jr. and Ronald Washington, planned to kill Jam Master Jay over a drug deal. Both men pleaded not guilty. For more on the trial, let's bring in attorney Jessica Ehrlich. Jessica, this is sort of a fascinating case. Take us through the charges against the defendants and the sentences they could face and why it's taken so long to get to this point.
Good morning. Well, it has taken almost 20 years for this case to come to trial. It's actually the first of the sort of three main murder trials that we're seeing. There was the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur, the 1997 killing of Notorious B.I.G., and then the killing of Jam Master Jay. And it was a cycle that we saw. This is the first, after all these years, of these cases that's actually coming to trial, and it's being brought, as you mentioned, as a federal murder trial. This is not a state crime, because this is seen as a drug-related murder. It is therefore a federal case going before a federal judge by a federal prosecutor. The prosecution says that the reason it has taken so long is because the witnesses were not willing to speak before, either out of fear for retribution or for various other personal reasons, and that forensic evidence was being built over this time. They now have, because of new science, the ability to have more accurate evidence, which we will see as the trial unfolds, as well as new witnesses that have come forward. So the two that are going to trial starting today, as you mentioned, and there's one other murder suspect as well that is going to be going into a separate trial.
So you talked about new witnesses. There were witnesses there at the time, but as you know, as time ticks on, sometimes you don't remember all so well, but there was another person who was actually shot and survived. Based on what we know about the case, what do you think will be the most compelling evidence against the defendants?
Certainly the eyewitness testimony. It'll be very interesting to see what the prosecution has. Federal prosecutors are very unwilling to bring cases that they feel, particularly in the state of New York, that are not airtight and very strong. So I think we're going to see some compelling evidence. However, the defense says, to your point, that it has been 20 years, that it's actually a detriment to the defense for them to now have to be brought to trial. In particular, I think they were, Jordan has been a possible suspect in this case since 2007. And so they're saying that there's no DNA evidence that links them, and that the evidence that is circumstantial. They both pled not guilty. The federal prosecutor is not seeking the death penalty in this case. They're just seeking time. So there's additional crimes that have also been brought. I know Washington has some drug crimes that will be handled at the same time. So each of the defendants is looking at a minimum probably of 20 years if found guilty, and then it'll come down to sentencing and other factors that the judge believes come into play.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much.
As you leave the page, don't forget to hit the like bell, which is the thumbs up bell, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thank you for watching.